Welcome to Critical DMG, a podcast about two best friends who might have grown up but never grew out of their love for the Game Boy. We will be playing and reviewing every North American title released on Nintendo's original handheld console. This is episode 25. I'm Tony, and this game was a hero, not a nemesis.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a hero, not a zero. But I'm Jeff, and yeah, today we're talking about Nemesis. And we also are joined by Specter Salmon.
Yay!
So, Specter, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Specter Salmon. I am a pixel artist. I used to do UX and QA testing, and now getting into game development myself.
Yes.
And have a long history with the Game Boy being my first system.
Awesome.
Well, specifically Game Boy Pocket, but that still counts.
The best model.
No.
See, Jeff? It's the best model.
No, Game Boy Color is where it's at.
I just upgraded to a Game Boy Color. Like, that's my play design.
No.
But nowadays, when it comes to retro gaming, I'm an advocate for game preservation, like more than just playing the game, also keeping track of the boxes, being manual scans.
Oh, awesome.
You know, because game preservation is more than just playing the game. It's also everything else surrounding it.
Yeah.
You know, and just especially with this show, it's like you need the manual for a lot of these games.
Yes. That's what I was going to say. A lot of the time with the games that we cover here, sometimes you don't get very far without having a manual on you. And so those scans are super important.
Yeah, I've been very thankful to the few resources that I use for the manuals because, yeah, it definitely helps a lot.
Like, for me, it's just been more of, like, spreading the word and, like, teaching people that even your save file on your memory card is just as important to back up and, you know, to preserve. And, you know, why all of it matters, like, years down the road.
Sure. Oh, actually, I've been doing that with my carts that I have when I get them from like secondhand sellers. If they have save data on them, I try to rip that save data and keep it just in case. You know, I don't know that I would necessarily have a whole lot of use for it, but it feels like a waste to just wipe it clean when it's so easy to just preserve it for whatever it might be needed for.
Or the same thing too of here's a 100% save file, but someone wants to record footage for like a YouTube video of like later in the game. Here's the save file to just be able to go straight there and record that footage.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. That's a good point.
Yeah, and you know, especially too, like this game thankfully does the scan of the manual for a couple of things.
Yeah, agreed. But getting into this game, Specter, you first. Would you recommend someone play this game?
I'm torn on that.
Okay.
I've been thinking on that of like some aspects I would, but other aspects not really. And it doesn't help that I've been playing also good shoot 'em ups recently, like Zero Ranger.
Okay.
It's good, but I have some issues with it from recommending it.
Sure, that's fair.
Yeah, we'll see if after our conversation you're a little bit more locked on one of those positions.
Yeah.
Tony, based on your intro, I think I know your answer, but what's your recommendation?
Oh, 100%. This game rocks.
I'm also leaning towards yes, maybe kind of split between you two on my recommendation. But with that, Tony, can you tell us what the back of the box says?
I can. Nemesis. Your dignity won't be all you'll lose if you're beaten by the king. As chief of the Interplanetary Police, you thought you put evil King Nemesis behind bars for good. But, fresh out of the Solar Slammer on a technicality, he's just put $1 billion bounty on your head. And now his heinous horde of henchmen are looking to make some quick cash. But you've got more than a six-zapper up your sleeve. You've got the Proteus 911, the most technologically sophisticated flying machine of death ever invented. So strap yourself into this unmarked, pressure-cooking starfighter, power up your arsenal with land-blasting lasers, mauling missiles, and dual devices of destruction, then blast the king's 5 brain-draining levels, including the sacrificial sarcophagus of Saturn, and keep wailing away until the king and his fools learn that crime doesn't pay.
A lot going on there.
I know.
Yeah, the manual has a lot of the same type of wording, and it's all very, not grandiose per se, but just interesting, I guess we'll say.
It reminds me of Hyper Load Runner, except a little more believable. Like, I can look at this game and be like, yeah, all right, I can see where you're going with this.
What's interesting to me is that they call it the Proteus 911.
Yeah.
Because in the original version, which was Gradius, or Gradius, depending how you want to pronounce it, it's called the Thick Viper.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Like, that threw me off. It's like, wait, what? Are you playing a different person?
Yeah, so this is released by Konami or Ultra here in the US. And this is our last game of April of 1990.
Yes.
But yeah, they did a little bit of renaming as far as I could tell, and it's part of the series, but also doesn't quite keep the name. So I couldn't quite tell why that was the case, but...
Yeah, it's part of the series, but uses a name from an earlier scrapped game that was in the series or something like that. Like, the Nemesis name has been part of the Gradius series, like, before. So this name is, like, technically still part of it, even though it's not named Gradius. I did find out that the game is called Gradius in a re-release down the line.
I saw that.
They just don't even bother calling it Nemesis, later on. It's just Gradius and then a Gradius 2. So I could have told you that this was a Gradius just from as soon as I started it and I saw that it was a horizontal shooter with like a power-up system, and it clicked in my brain immediately.
Yeah.
I took it with like the naming convention. I took it more as like how also ports down the road for Game Boy, where it's like they're trying to port like the full game to Game Boy, but they had to make so many compromises that it became its own thing.
Yeah.
I took it as like, there's too many differences between this and Gradius in the arcade. Let's just call it by a different name, but still have like the same logo and everything, like similar-ish.
Yeah.
I could see that. Do either of you have any more background or anything you want to talk about, or should we dive into some of those mechanics?
No, I am chomping at the bit to get into this one.
I want to talk about the mechanics really badly.
All right, let's do it. We've already kind of spoiled this one, but it is a scrolling shooter. You fly around in a ship and shoot things. Your goal is to shoot or avoid all of the enemies, get to the end of each level, and defeat the boss. Controls, quite simple. D-pad moves you around, A shoots, and B will use your power-up. So essentially how that works, each enemy, or some enemies, will drop power-up capsules. And when you pick one up, it'll kind of light up your first bar. That's a speed boost. Then if you pick up another one before you use it, it will go to missiles, which drop missiles down. Pick up a third in a row. That gives you a double gun, so you shoot straight and up. 4 gives you a laser. 5, it's called option. I don't know why it's called option, but essentially a little orb just follows you around and shoots as well. So kind of doubles the amount of firepower you have. And then if you get all 6 without using it, you'll get a force field.
Yeah.
But again, guess first. Specter, how far did you get? Did you beat all 5 levels? Did you defeat the evil king? Or what was your gameplay like for this one?
I overachieved. I actually beat all 6 levels.
Ooh.
I did it without using any cheats, but I maxed out how many lives at the beginning. And that was a godsend because
Sure.
the last level, and I'm not exaggerating, I went to 60 lives.
Oh, wow.
I believe it.
Is the 6th a bonus level or like a secret level? Is that what you're referring to?
Yes. So the manual hints at it, but I want to point out something about the manual. They say bonus stages.
Yeah.
As in plural. There's only one.
Okay.
And it's tucked away because You have like the section where you have to like go up and down pillars, and then there's one where it's like I forget what the enemy's called. I think it's called like a reskull or rebone.
Yeah, rebone.
Yeah. You have to shoot it and then go to where it would be at the very bottom, stay there for a couple seconds, and then it takes you to the bonus stage, which it's mostly nothing. You just shoot through walls, get bonus capsules that increases your score, and 1-up capsules that gives you extra lives.
Okay.
Which you would need.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I looked for the bonus level. I couldn't find it on my own. Not my first playthrough, but my second playthrough. I did cheat because I wanted to see if it works, but I could never find the bonus level. This game does have the Konami code. So if you pause, you can use the Konami code and it'll kind of unlock all of your power-ups, which I thought that was really cool. Kind of the first time that we've seen such kind of like an iconic thing being implemented.
That's true. Very nice of them.
I then watched a speed run, which for this game, world record is about 12 minutes and 17 seconds for whatever that's worth.
Wow.
They, from what I could tell, went to this bonus level, but then immediately killed themselves because I think that skips the rest of level 4. So I'm assuming it was just faster.
Yep.
Huh.
So yeah, Spectre, I'm glad that you were able to find it and everything, because I wasn't just playing through on my own.
I will be honest, I didn't even read the manual for this one. I literally knew that this was a Gradius game as soon as I turned it on and started it. I appreciated that they let you give yourself like a bunch of lives if you want to. I thought that that was really nice and accessible. I gave myself 30, I think, to start, but I like that it goes all the way up to 99. I also think that they have kind of a couple different accessibility things here that I appreciated. The 99 lives is nice. I do like that there's a normal and a hard mode that you can pick from. That's also nice. And I like that they allow you to have an auto fire. So if you hold down the A button and the auto fire is on, you'll just keep shooting until you let go. And I really appreciate that, because mashing the button to make rapid shots come out is really, really rough on my hands these days.
Yeah, I quite like that as well. I kind of wished it was just straight auto fire, not having to push the button at all, because I tend to get a little bit aggressive with how hard I'm holding the button when I'm going through kind of tricky situations.
Sure. Classic problem.
Yeah, but not having to click the button repeatedly was definitely very nice.
And I really do love that they actually give you the option.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But one thing to point out is the difficulty option. There's only 2. But if you beat level 1, it plays the ending, it does the credits.
Yeah.
But then it just brings you back to the beginning, but on level 2.
Yeah. It's like, it feels like a new game plus, even though it's just the same thing, just on the hard mode if you played on normal mode.
Yeah, Konami did that quite a bit in the older games. Like they did that in, I think they actually did that in the arcade release of Gradius. I don't remember.
Castlevania The Adventure here on the Game Boy does the exact same thing. When you beat that game, it just gives you a chance to start back over on a harder difficulty or whatever. No, thank you.
Okay, but that's if I actually, want to play that game.
Exactly.
I have that game. I don't play it that much.
Who could blame you?
It can be a slog for sure.
That's because it is. Because it moves like one.
Yeah, it does.
Unlike this game.
No, this was a treat to play. I was pretty skeptical about how they were going to fit Gradius here on the Game Boy, and I think they knock it out of the park. The upgrade system feels good. I didn't really have too many issues with controlling it or thought it was unfairly difficult at times. Maybe that's because I kind of expected it to be on the harder side. So I made sure to give myself a lot of lives from the beginning, but like, you get lives pretty generously from scoring points, and I didn't really start to struggle too bad until probably like the last 2 levels, I think, are really where the difficulty really takes a spike. But the beginning of the game is honestly kind of pleasant, especially if you're just playing on normal.
Agreed. I think they do a good job of kind of ramping up the difficulty. So
Yes.
you do get a little bit of a chance to play around and figure out the power-up system. The early bits of the game really allow you to kind of play around with that and figure out, oh, this is what these are doing, while being enjoyable and not, extremely punishing for, learning the mechanics and all of that.
This does kind of go into one of the issues I have.
Sure, please.
Everybody's biggest issues with this system nowadays is that you have like a full setup, but then as soon as you die, you have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
This game, unlike the arcade original, it does feel more doable, bare bones.
Yes. And they also are very generous with the power-ups, too.
That's the other thing. One problem I have is the speed options. Movement in shoot 'em ups is a big thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as the aforementioned Zero Ranger, or one of my favorites, Glade Lancer.
Mm-hmm.
The movement and speed of your ship is so fine-tuned, or in Glade Lancer's case, you can adjust it on the fly with a press of a button.
Oh, interesting.
This game, it doesn't feel like you can get a good speed down. It's either you're moving too slow or too fast in some segments.
Yeah, I completely agree, especially when you are dealing with really tight corridors and you've already invested a lot into your speed to manage a more open area. It can be a real detriment to your ability to navigate without colliding with, scenery that's sticking out or enemies that pop up behind you or something like that.
Yeah, I felt like I would prioritize the first speed pretty highly, but then the second and third, I would usually try to avoid the third speed. And second, sometimes I would pick it up depending on where I was. So I can definitely see what you're saying, that the speed felt a little bit clunky. Sometimes you were too slow, sometimes too fast, and made maneuvering a little bit difficult.
I would love that this game does have the tradition that I've seen in other Gradius games I've played, like Salamander and Gradius Rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
If you have something selected, like you can press B and then get like force field or option or whatever.
Right.
When you die, you start with that still in your queue, but back on speed.
Oh, okay.
But if you don't have anything there, like you didn't pick up anything, like it's an empty bar, nothing is selected, and you die, then you start with nothing.
Oh, that's okay. That makes sense.
That's what I had assumed. That's kind of what I noticed. So it's good to hear, I guess, confirmation on that. Because, as far as I can tell, the manual does not go into that at all.
Oh, that's weird.
The final option is a force field,
Mm-hmm.
you said earlier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did it work for anybody else? Because,
Yeah.
Yes.
okay. Does it protect you from only projectiles or from enemy collisions or...
This is the other thing I want to complain about. Hitboxes are weird.
Yes.
Maybe it's that then.
In shoot 'em up, hitboxes and knowing your hitbox is crucial.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how many pixels is it? Like, where it is on the sprite.
Yeah.
Here, I swear, I got shots from the back, and I was fine. Or like, I rammed into an enemy, like in stage 5, where you have like these little amoeba enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one of them rammed into me, and it died, and I was perfectly fine. And it's like, what happened?
Yeah, so the manual for the force field does specifically say from enemy firepower.
Okay.
I think a lot of what Specter said, I couldn't tell if it also protected from enemy ships.
Uh-huh.
There were times where I had the force field and then it seemed like I would get shot either further down or not hit the force field. So it kind of seemed hit or miss, but it did seem to help. Just, maybe the hitboxes are a little wonky and maybe unclear exactly what it was protecting from.
I never bothered. Like, if I had enough points and I had maxed out everything else that I wanted to, I would eventually get the force field if I just had nothing else to use my power-ups on. But there were multiple times where I found myself with a full kit, every upgrade, all of the options, force field, missile upgrades full, like everything. and you just keep collecting power-ups, and you just keep watching the bar reset, because it goes all the way up and up and up, and then once it hits force field, if you get another one, it just goes back to speed. So it's just like watching it go through the cycle over and over again with nothing to use it on. You know, I don't know that I would say that that's a flaw in the game here. They probably aren't expecting you to be able to have that like massively powerful kit at all times in that way.
I would be interested to see, I guess, the actual under the hood code or hitbox sort of thing, because yeah, it did feel not extremely intuitive, and the force field is in front of you, very visibly in front of you. So you would think it would kind of only protect you from that, but
because later entries, when they will have one that represents protecting you like all over the ship, it would be like an actual force field covering the ship.
Yeah, which visually, that's kind of what you would expect, is to be in a little bubble.
Sure.
Or a little bubble that looks to be on fire, but a bubble nonetheless for the later games. I do have one thing though. It was kind of weird that you only get 2 options at max instead of the usual 4, but
yeah,
it makes sense.
I did notice that, but 2 options is still pretty good considering that this is on the Game Boy, and having 4 of them floating around you at all times would probably make things slower than they wanted it to, so I was willing to let them have that compromise.
Yeah.
The game does run slow.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little bit obnoxious in places, yeah.
But I feel like it's the Gradius 3 issue, where it's like, yeah, it's bad, but it does feel like that the game was designed for the slowdown in mind.
Yeah, especially with it being on the Game Boy. Because it's not like it was the first Gradius game to have come out, obviously, so they knew what to expect, and tweaking it down for the Game Boy, it feels fine here, because there are definitely some parts where they are jamming stuff on the screen at you, and you can barely wiggle without like an enemy bullet whizzing past your ship, or another enemy popping up behind you from out of the background tiles or whatever. And so there are some moments where there is a lot happening on screen at the same time. And, you know, it slows down a little bit, but I was not really noticing like a ton of sprite flickering or any other usual like visual issues that you would kind of have when that goes on. So I gotta commend him for that.
Yeah, I don't think it ever felt insanely clunky. Even when it kind of slowed down and things like that, it still felt smooth enough. Though I did definitely note the screen can definitely get cluttered at points.
Yeah.
Especially when you have full power-ups, 2 options, and then some of those places where they're just jamming heaps of enemies and bullets at you. It can get a little cluttered, but I don't remember it ever really feeling clunky or like it was lagging in a bad way.
I think I'm done with the mechanics. Is everybody else on that page? Are we ready to move on? Or anybody else have any final notes before we hit the aesthetics?
No, I'm happy to take a quick break and then get back to the creative.
Yeah, I think I'll be good on that so we can talk about the aesthetics, because I have a lot to say about that too.
All right.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Ad break. Can't seem to clear any lines in your Tetris? Stuck underwater in Super Mario Land? The old Pokemon grind got you feeling blue? Then stay tuned to Critical DMG. It won't make you better at Game Boy games, but at least you won't feel so alone in how bad you are at them once you've listened to us. Users must provide their own Game Boy. Batteries not included. Certain conditions apply. Void where prohibited. Critical DMG is not responsible for any worsening gameplay after consuming our podcast. In a world not too unlike our own, there are creatures known as pups, doll-like beings brought to life through magic. These pups used to live a life of peace and harmony in their forests and towns. This was shattered when the evil king Hocus Pocus arrived and began to use mysterious powers to control the poor pups, turning them into an army bent on world domination. As one of the only remaining pup knights with your own free will, it falls to you to take up sword and shield in defense of the once bustling city of Pup Town. Fight your way through stage after stage of enemies, taking them down in back and forth turn-based combat, gaining experience and coins as you go. Keep yourself upgraded and well fed back at the tavern and other still inhabited places around the town square. The more of the enemy's army you're able to clear out from around Pup Town, the more its inhabitants will make themselves known to you, maybe even helping you continue to grow stronger and better able to put an end to the evil king's reign of terror once and for all. So get going. There's an adorable cast of sprightly furries that needs your help. Will you be the savior of Pup Town? Pup Panic by Unicorp Entertainment is available now on itch.io for all Game Boy systems and emulators. And we're back. Oh man, the music here is so good.
Yeah.
It was such a refreshing change from what feels like, I don't even know what, Jeff, like the last half dozen or more games it feels like we've talked about recently that have had just nothing soundtracks or delightfully inoffensive soundtracks at best.
Yeah, I mean, we hit a string of puzzle and sports games, which I feel are not always going to be the best. But yeah, I quite like the music.
The music I saw was fine. You know, even though I was too focused on trying to live than the music.
Me too. Me too.
I think it was pretty good. Different music per level, yeah. So nice to see that.
The sounds I also think are pretty good here, except for the laser.
That's the note I had as well.
Okay, I don't have the issue with the laser, because I'm just so used to the laser that if it's not making my ears bleed, then it's not the laser sound I know.
That's fair.
The issue I have is the sound effect to let you know when you are actually hitting the enemy.
Oh, yeah, that like ping.
Yeah. So the issue isn't the fact of what it sounds like. It's the fact that sometimes you're hitting the enemy, but the sound effect isn't going off to let you know that you actually are doing damage.
Sure.
Yeah. It makes it a little unclear if you're just not hitting the enemy in the correct place or if it's just a sound bug or anything. So I definitely experienced that as well with some of the bosses, not really knowing if I'm supposed to hit them in one specific place, or if it was just a sound bug.
Yeah, because like with stage 3 and 4, with those bosses, that sound effect is really helpful because they are these massive sprites.
Yeah.
Well, massive in the sense for Game Boy because it takes up like 2/3 of the screen.
Yeah.
But when that sound effect doesn't go off to let you know that you're hitting in the right spot, you're still going to be going around being like, where to hit it, where to hit it, where to hit it.
Yeah, because I think a lot of them are designed in a way where they look like they might have a weak point or something like that. Like, yeah, the stage 2 boss, I guess Venus Destructo, is kind of this big claw-looking thing. And in the back center of the claw, it has kind of an orb that looks like it should be a weak spot. I don't know if that's where you're supposed to hit it or not. I don't know if you hit it on like the edge of the claws, if it still does things. But again, if that sound effect were working better, then I could definitely see that being very beneficial. And I think that's something that I intuitively felt while playing, but I didn't, I guess, realize it or have that concise thought that this is potentially a problem.
I'm happy to see that. It's like, you still got like these massive bosses, like, which is what you hope to see in a Gradius game.
Yeah, I quite like the boss designs. I don't have a lot of experience with this franchise, so it's good to hear that they're kind of true to form. But I think they just do a very good job of, showing that kind of grandiose while still being maneuverable, and I quite like them.
One thing that I really like about the sprites being so big is that they give them not just the fact that their size is so immense compared to you and everything else around you, but they give them an entrance every single time.
Yeah.
It's not just like you go to the next screen and, oh, there's the boss. Okay, boss fight starts. The first boss, you have to deal with it like erupting out of the ground and all of these rocks coming at you, and then the boss fight happens. And then there's another boss where there's like it's basically a mini boss before the boss fight with these balls bouncing around that you have to break apart, and then they break into smaller ones, and then you destroy those, and then the boss happens. Like, they gear you up for not just the fact that the sprites for the bosses are so huge compared to your little tiny ship, but also that it's like an event moment. Something is happening. It is time for this fight to happen, and it is different from the level that you just went through. And I really appreciated that here.
And one thing that is really satisfying is when you defeat the boss and it has like this special like fadeaway animation to show that you beat it.
Mm-hmm.
It looks so good.
It's like when it happens, it's like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's like, I love it.
Yes, it looks so good.
I love the fact that it's like all the enemies that you've seen throughout, like if you play other games, are here and recognizable. Like probably the most recognizable enemy in the franchise, which is the Maui statues.
Yeah, I noticed those too.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're going to stage 3. Are we going to get the Maui statue? There they are.
And man, are they aggravating to deal with.
Why? Is there a lore reason for that? You know, why are there random Moai statues?
So it's more of like a more of like poking fun at like the theory that those statues came from aliens.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's pretty much what I've always got from it. I never bothered looking it up, but that's how I always interpret it.
That's good headcanon. I'll accept that.
One issue I do have with the visuals though, and it's nothing on the game's fault. It's because it's on the Game Boy.
Oh man, we might have the same note here. Go ahead.
One part that got me really angry was near the end of the final level, where you have to go and dodge like these platforms that are going by. But then these amoebas enemies just come out of nowhere, but they spawn in the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So you clearly see them, and they're clearly there. The problem is that they blend in so well with the stage tiles that you're trying to avoid that, like, when they actually come out of there, it appears like they came out of nowhere.
Okay, so we don't have the exact same note, but it's basically the same note, because my problem with the visuals as well was the fact that because it's on the Game Boy and there are only so many colors to go around, even for the background tiles, trying to differentiate what you are and aren't allowed to pass by can be really difficult. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense that you were having problems pulling the enemy sprites out of the same colored backgrounds.
I'm not gonna lie, I ran into that first mountain probably 3 times before I realized the background had collision.
Oh my gosh, Jeff, literally the same thing. That's why I wrote it down in my notes. Was the first level is really the only time that I had a huge problem with it, because in most of the rest of the games that we've played, something like a mountain or whatever would be in the background, and it would just be something that you pass by and, you know, you don't like think about it. It's just decoration. And not here. Here, basically anything that's part of the like ceiling or floor will kill you.
Yeah.
Tap yourself into the floor of a level, you'll explode. Crash into a wall or a mountain or like a fixture shooting at you or something, you'll explode. Everything will make you explode.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did not have it with the mountain. I've had it with the rib cages in stage 4.
Yeah.
Because some of them you can pass through, but in some of them you don't. And then it's like, well, why can't I pass through this one and not that one? Did this one pay extra on the taxes? Like, it's one of those kind of things where it's like, if there's a difference, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I think, and this is something that like Castlevania the Adventure did, Jeff, when we talked about the backgrounds being that third color only, and they didn't really use any of the black because all of the enemies and stuff had black outlines for the most part. I feel like they would have done something similar here. So it almost was kind of just, I had to recalibrate my brain sort of to just be like, no, everything will kill you.
Yeah.
No surface is safe here. This is not the same as other stuff that we've encountered. Everything will end your run here. You have to be aware of all surroundings at all times.
Okay, it's funny you mentioned the third color thing. Because another shoot 'em up on the Game Boy, I actually have like an imported copy of it, which is actually on my desk right now, is Proteus.
Oh my goodness, no way.
Like, they do that, where like the background is like the third color, and the walls and the things that you shouldn't ram into is the darker colors.
Right. Yeah, they leave it to be that the like actual background of the level is in those lighter colors because it makes the stuff seem far away. You know, the colors are washed out because it's in the distance, and then they leave the stuff that you can actually collide with and need to watch out for to give that heavy outline. Like I said, I feel like it's probably just that there wasn't really any background to speak of much in this game, because there was so much happening on the screen at all times that it probably would have just made it even harder to like parse the bullets and the enemies out of all of whatever was going on in the background. Ultimately, this one is probably one of the clearest. This is because it was a game made for the Game Boy, like qualifiers that we've had on the show, you know? Like, I don't really know that we've had too many other games that we've talked about where it's like, yeah, this is definitely an issue that really only comes about because it was made for the Game Boy and had to use the Game Boy's visuals.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
It's one of those kind of things where it's like, yeah, it has like those issues, but it doesn't really hold it back too much.
Yeah.
From still being enjoyable. It's just some things do feel cheap when they come up.
Sure.
Although to be fair, it is Gradius, so you know.
Yeah, right, exactly. If you know what it is, you know what you're getting into.
Yeah, everything is out to kill you. I've played Gradius Rebirth so much when it first came out on WiiWare. The Game Boy doesn't have it, obviously. But when the first boss comes up, all I can hear is the voice from that game saying destroy the core.
I'm happy they didn't try to throw digitized voice.
Oh my god, Jeff,
saying
I was
destroy
literally
the
just
core.
going to ask you. I was 100% going to be like, Jeff, what would your opinion of this game be if there was a digitized little just like destroy the core?
That was good. That was good.
Yeah, that was actually pretty close to the actual thing. I'm not joking.
Thank you.
But that does sound like wrap-up talk. So, I'm ready to move on, if everyone else is.
Yeah, I'm good to move on.
So, Specter, Gradius fan that you are, would you recommend Nemesis for people to play? Is it worth the batteries?
I'm still torn because again, it's like it's not a bad game. Like it's far from it.
Sure.
But it's just one of those kind of things where it's like even on the Game Boy, you do have like options that could be seen as on par or better, like Proteus.
Sure, yeah, especially with this one being so early in the Game Boy's life cycle, I'm sure that they do it better down the line.
That's the other thing too. For how early of a game it is honestly surprisingly extremely well made.
Bingo.
Of a port.
Yes.
So that's like kind of the part because like we've all had it where we go back and play an older game and then it's like, oh, this game aged like fine wine. This game is like it aged like that in some aspects, but then others it didn't, and that's kind of where I'm kind of torn on.
Okay, that's totally fair.
Yeah.
How about you, Jeff?
I still think I'm probably somewhere in the middle between you all. I do think Spectre may have knocked it down just slightly, but I think I'm still kind of a yes. Probably a yes asterisk at this point, because, yeah, I do think there are probably some better showings and things like that, but I had fun playing the game, and there was definitely nothing that, I guess, threw me off enough to not necessarily recommend it. It is only 5 levels, so not a huge amount of time investment, but that can be good sometimes.
Actually, I think I agree with you on there. I would say yes with an asterisk.
All right.
Where it's like, if you want to play this game, you are in for a good time.
Yeah.
But if you have a choice between this game and then like another shoot 'em up, you know, it's not going to be much of a comparison. Although honestly, like given the difficulty options, I would honestly probably play this one over the arcade original.
Yeah, I am putting my foot down. This is a yes. No asterisk necessary.
All right.
This is worth the batteries. The fact that they give you so many just tweaks and accessibility things that make it so easy to get into, and that this game cleans the clock out of most of the stuff that we've dealt with for 1990 so far.
I would agree. And even Solar Striker, our other shoot 'em up, I had more fun playing this one than Solar Striker. So,
Sure.
Good showing.
I agree. I was thinking of Solar Striker as well. Like, I enjoyed that game too. This one is still like on an entirely different level, and I would recommend it. I know that there will be better shoot 'em ups down the line, but for where this one sits in April of 1990, I think that this is just classic, honestly, I would have to say. Like, this one is going very high on my list.
But out of the two best games of 1990 that you've really liked, which one do you say is better, Nemesis or Fist of the North Star?
Oh, wow. What a tough decision.
It's like I listened to the show.
I'm going to give the edge to Fist of the North Star just for the title alone. Fist of the North Star, 10 Big Brawls for King of the Universe. But Nemesis is just leaps and bounds better. I'm gonna go back to Nemesis. If I knew that obtaining a copy would be reasonably inexpensive, I think I might pick this one up actually, because I enjoyed it so much.
But come on, in Fist of the North Star, you can practice your DP motions.
All right, you. It's time for the quiz.
I had to get a fighting game Dane in there.
Are you ready for the hot seat?
No,
Too bad.
I have no choice anyways.
Yeah, again, that's how I feel every week. So, yeah, this week I'm not taking the quiz. Our guest Specter is going to. So,
Although I want to ask Jeff, where are you currently at for quizzes?
my current correct percentage is around 77%. So it's been taking a little bit of a hit recently.
Oh, I saw you were at home. I've been meaning to say that joke for a while.
All right.
That is fair. I am in my office.
Oh, same here.
But you're not quizzing me.
No.
You're in the hot seat for the quiz. So
Yes, Nemesis quiz. Question 1. The excellent soundtrack for Nemesis was primarily provided by longtime Konami composer Yamane Michiru, who is best known for her work on the 1990s Castlevania entries like Symphony of the Night and Bloodlines. While she didn't do much more work on games for the Game Boy, there's at least one other title that was soundtracked by her that we will be seeing sometime this year. Just how soon, though? Is it true or false that we will be seeing the only other Game Boy game with music composed by Yamane Michiru in less than 6 months from this episode's recording?
Yeah, I would say that's true. Because, like, she did a lot of work for Konami, like, even all the way up to the DS. Like, she actually did a collab soundtrack for Portrait of Ruin with Yuzo Koshiro, who did the E soundtrack, and Bare Knuckle, also known as Streets of Rage.
Yep, it is true. She did soundtracks, like you said, for SNES, Famicom, arcade machines, pretty much all over the place. The only other Game Boy game that I could find that had its soundtrack composed by Yamane Michiru is in the 1990s, and it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Fall of the Foot Clan. Ooh. So regardless of however fun that game might be to play, we can at least keep our fingers crossed for some more awesome Game Boy music.
About 12 episodes from now.
Wait, she did that one? I saw I thought the next one was going to be Castlevania 2.
Nope, as far as I was aware, she's only credited for this game and TMNT Follow the Foot Clan on the Game Boy. There are a bunch of other games that have her credited anyway, but as far as I saw, that was just those two for the Game Boy.
I love the confidence. I am never that confident with my answers.
Yeah, I had a feeling from all the rest of the conversation for the episode. I was like, he might know a lot of these already.
Well, no, I didn't know that she didn't do that many games for the Game Boy. I know she did a lot of work for Konami.
Yep, there was a lot around that same time, but just the 2 on the Game Boy. Speaking of 2, are you ready for question 2?
No, but I will be anyways.
Too bad. Too bad. All right, question 2. Looking backward instead of forward, let's talk about the game known as the spiritual predecessor to the Gradius series as a whole. In 1981, Konami released Scramble, a best-selling arcade hit that looks, sounds, and feels very much like the game we just played on the Game Boy. A horizontal shooter filled with a small variety of enemies and an increasing difficulty as you progress through its 6 different sections, Scramble is very close to the game we know as Gradius, except for which of these factors? Is it A, there are no stage bosses, B, there is no power-up system, C, there's a limited fuel supply to manage, or D, all of these are differences in Scramble?
Okay, I'm trying to remember, what was the ruling for D?
So D is typically a joke answer. However, that doesn't apply to all of the above. So I don't know what the answer here is, but D is typically safe if it's all of the above.
Okay, the reason why I asked about the ruling for D was because all of them were sounding like the right option. Because, like, the power-up system was a big selling point for Gradius back then. I remember Konami shoot 'em up having a fuel system and not going well. Or I might be getting my wires crossed because there's a lot of games.
There are.
I'm honestly going to say D.
I was about to say, go with your gut. Anytime I start to overthink it, I feel like it goes poorly.
I don't know, let me check with my gut. Gut, what do you say? But yeah, I'm gonna go with D.
Your gut was right. It is D.
Whoa! It's like I might be getting my wires crossed with the fuel thing.
While there are many similarities that you can trace to Gradius from Scramble, there are plenty of differences too. All of the sections of the game run together seamlessly. It's not stage by stage, it's just one long run, with you needing to keep a fuel gauge full throughout the whole thing. And you have dedicated buttons for shooting and dropping bombs, but no power-up system of any kind. And while it's pretty straightforward, the game was immensely popular and successful in its time, getting a number of home ports as well as having record sales in its first year.
Yeah, if it sold well, then I might be getting my wires crossed. Of like the game I'm thinking of.
Could be. Like you said, there's a lot of this kind of game.
And it's like a lot of them do stand out. Like I've played a lot of shoot 'em ups, but it's like
Sure.
some mechanics do kind of blend in with one another.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the versions of this one that I would actually really want to look into or like really want to see was it was ported to the Vectrix.
Oh,
Specter, it sounds like you're familiar.
I've played on it.
I have not played on a Vectrix, but I really want to.
One of my old friends, he actually had one in, and we played Asteroid, which was built into the system if you don't put in a cartridge.
Yeah.
And he had one other game. It was a racing game. I don't remember the name of it, but it was cool.
Yeah.
Like that, I want one. It's awesome.
They're so cool. Yeah, me too. For anyone who's unfamiliar, Jeff, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Vectrix, but it was a vector graphics based like home console. And so instead of the like pixels and sprites that you are usually familiar with for especially games of this time, everything was drawn with these like lines of light on the screen. And wow, it is such an interesting experience. And that a lot of the games, they would come with these overlays that you would put on the screen of the Vectrix that would color things. It was like a cellophane sort of colored overlay that would give it like a frame or a background. Super cool.
And what's even cool is like everything is aligned. So if you see a dot, it's like it's actually not just a dot. It's actually a really short line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are super, super cool.
Interesting. That checks out with the aesthetics of Asteroid.
Yeah. Awesome. 2 for 2. So
Yeah, doing well.
yeah, let's see if we can bring you home with all 3. Are you ready? You have to be ready this time.
Oh. But I want a choice. I want options.
Well, for the final time, too bad.
Oh.
All right. Question 3. Typical of Konami, Nemesis is given access to the fan favorite Konami code, and using it while the game is paused will give you a full suite of power-ups immediately upon getting back to the action. We sort of touched on this just a little bit earlier on the episode. But that's not the only code that the developers included in Nemesis. There's a lesser one that just maxes out your speed and your shields, and then there's another one that acts as like a screen-clearing bomb for minor enemies. But most interestingly, there's also negative cheat codes that you can put in. What is something that they will do for your game? A. Make all enemies unkillable. B. Instantly reduce your power-ups back down to 0. C. Increase your speed by a multiple of 10. Or D. Turn your Game Boy off completely.
I like the idea of it just making you extremely fast.
I would put that in my own game.
So, and I really wish it was D. And I'm kind of throwing myself off because, like, there's a Gradius game on the GBA where if you type in the Konami code, like, exactly the same, like up, down, left, right,
Mm-hmm.
you actually end up destroying yourself. But if you change it to up, down, LR, and then BA star, then you get the appropriate, like, outcome. It was just to show off, like, old-timers, like me. I want to say it's the power-up one.
B is your final answer? Reduces all of your power-ups to 0?
Yeah, when you say that, it means, like, get rid of your laser, get rid of your options.
Yeah, it basically, like, whatever power-ups that you had already built up, it just resets everything back to 0. You have no speed, no nothing.
And do you want to know the worst part? Earlier this week, I was looking up the cheat codes, but I don't remember that one.
That's what we call prior knowledge here on Critical DMG.
Well, I had to see if the cheat code was there because Gradius was the game that introduced it because the game was so hard,
Right?
that they made the cheat code so that way the testers could actually see the later half of the game.
Well, you got to pick one.
You know what?
Go with your gut. Go with your gut.
I don't know, Gertie. What do you think? That sounded very graphic of a name. No, rip the band-aid off. I'm gonna go for the power-up one.
You're right. It is the power-up one. It was B.
3 for 3. Very good.
Yeah, there were 2 negative codes that I found documented on GameFAQs in a guide by user Gamma Beta Alpha, and this guide was from all the way back in 2010. One of the codes, like the answer said, is just an instant power loss that resets everything back down to 0 in all your stats. It just takes everything away. No speed, no bonus guns, none of that stuff. The other simply removes all power-ups from the level entirely. I don't really know why anyone would want that to happen, but as a game developer, I would totally put something like that in my own game.
I'm just thinking about, like, the game, and it's like, honestly, that would have been helpful just to reduce your speed.
Yeah, I did think about that as we were having the conversation. Like, if your speed is too high, you could put in this cheat code and it'll drop your speed back down. But, like,
Yeah.
I don't want to reduce all of my power-ups, just my speed. I don't want to lose everything. If you could turn just the speed down, I could see that being useful, but wiping all of your stats back to 0, that's as bad as dying.
Yeah, I feel like that's more hurtful than helpful in that situation, but 3 for 3, very good, very good. Showed me up, at least. But, Tony, can you remind us what our previous listener question was?
I can. Okay. World Bowling question. The previously mentioned, this was again back in the World Bowling episode from last week, Capcom Coin Op, which was the pinball manufacturing arm of Capcom that spun out in the 90s. They didn't make too many successful pinball tables in their short time as a business, but not all of their designs were failures. One table that they had queued for production but got canceled and then sort of saved, and like a cult following, was known for having a really cool art design with lots of lights and tubes, aliens all over the place, and it was set in like an outer space lounge, and I wanted to know what it was called. Jeff, did you find out?
I did not. Yeah, I didn't look it up, and I have no idea.
Specter, any ideas?
So it was the coin-op branch that went to make like an arcade game?
So Capcom's coin-op branch, this is one of the tables that they made. Like, this was one of their pinball tables that they made, but only in really small quantities, and then they stopped, and it was released by another company called Illinois Pinball Company later on down the line, and it has aliens all over it and lots of lights and weird tubes and stuff. So I wanted to know if anyone knew what it was called.
Okay, then I'm thinking of something completely different.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the table is called Big Bang Bar. And with not even 200 of them made in full before bankruptcy claimed the Illinois Pinball Company, the game has a legendary reputation for fun and an even more legendary price tag. So while they went for somewhere around $4,500 new back in 2006, from what my research turned up, prices that I saw on like eBay or wherever reached somewhere in the area of like $30,000 to $50,000.
Wow.
For one these days, depending on which model it is and where it came from and that sort of stuff. So I love me a good pinball table, but
Not running out to pick one of those up quite yet.
I can't say that I am, no.
You said it was a Big Bang Bar?
Big Bang Bar, yes.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, like I just pulled it up on my phone, and it looks sick.
Yeah, it does look pretty cool. I do have to say, as someone who does like, you know, a well-designed pinball layout, I think that it looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, I gotta show this to my fiance because she loves pinball. Like, I gotta show that.
Some people do, Jeff does not.
Yeah, I'll stay quiet.
Yeah, I do too. It depends on the table.
Fair enough.
Sure, yeah, I think that's sort of how it is, especially if you do play a lot of pinball. You have favorite tables for sure.
Yeah, like Pokemon pinball.
That's a game we're not going to get to, unfortunately.
No!
Yep, that's a Game Boy Color release. Anyway, so that takes care of the question for last week. On to this week's audience question.
Mm-hmm.
Also typical of Konami, the Gradius franchise can be seen hanging around in things that aren't the actual video games that its futuristic ship, the Vic Viper, hails from. One of my favorite spots to find the ship from Gradius, as well as other enemy ships, is in one of the least likely places you might think of, a card game. Given a relatively small archetype, complete with the usual grandiose naming conventions seen in many of the cards found in this game, Gradius has its jet prints in what Konami-owned trading card game? Jeff, you probably know, so you have to stay quiet.
I won't say anything.
And Specter, if you know, you have to stay quiet too.
I am literally a massive TCG advocate. Like, I play so many card games.
Too bad.
Like, I know
Stay
exactly.
quiet. You can't say the answer.
But Tony, the audience must know.
Yeah, that's for our audience to mull over and potentially find out next week if you join us next week. Thanks for listening to Critical DMG. If you would like to support us further, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/criticaldmgpod. Join us there for monthly newsletters and extra content. Otherwise, please leave a review wherever you get your podcasts, and maybe recommend us to your friends or anyone else you might think that would like the show. It really helps us out, and we appreciate it. That brings us to the end of Nemesis, and again, big thanks for Specter Salmon for being here. Do you want to remind us all where everyone can find you and all of that fun stuff?
You can find me, I would say Blue Sky, because it's like the one I'm mostly on, but I don't know, I just don't post as much as a lot of people do.
Sure. I feel that.
But you can find like my work for what I do for pixel art and like games that I've done work on my card, which is spectersalmon.card.co, and that's card with 2 R's.
Perfect. And we'll link that below.
I was just going to say, we can put that link in the description as well.
Yeah, which has like all of my links to like where you can find my pixel art, where you can find me on social media and that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
And again, thank you for having me on. I'm really happy to talk about shoot 'em ups because I love shoot 'em ups.
So glad to have you. This is guest number 2. I'm liking these.
Yeah, and we will plan to kind of continue doing these when we think it fits, like Specter did today. And again, yeah, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your knowledge on shoot 'em ups and gaming in general.
Yeah, let me know if you need like another special guest or if you want me back on, because like I recently just got a Game Boy Color and it was actually fun to actually use this as like a test drive to make sure everything works.
Yes, see, that's the whole point, is to get people to play on their Game Boys again.
Actually, that's one thing I want to mention, because I actually do listen to the show.
Both.
How am I doing that? I'm listening with my eyes. But one thing I actually do recommend, if you're able to, is listening to the episode while playing the game that's being discussed.
That's a pretty cool idea, actually.
Yeah.
Like, I've been doing that for like the past while. Probably if you're listening to this, probably give that a shot. Except the person listening that's doing college work, like, keep doing that.
Yeah, don't, if you're driving or anything, don't pull out your Game Boy quite right now, but
at least pull over first.
All right. So with Nemesis out of the way, join us next week when we talk about quicks.
It's kicks, and I'm so excited.
I'm gonna call it quicks just because.
No, it's keeks.
Yeah, I think it is kicks. But oh man, I love that game.
Join us next week and figure out how many different ways we can say QIX.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.